What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Keco Collects. Dean the Dream is also here this fine Friday evening, May the 19th of 2023. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to lead into the weekend, and as we always do, in a fun, exciting, collector, friendly fashion. So it's going to be really, really awesome. Guys, we got some fun topics. Of course, InArt is alive. InArt Harry Potter has been teased. The pre-order is coming soon. They did say that figure was coming, and it is. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it looks pretty damn good. Of course, we got Starlord from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We got some other stuff about Spider-Verse 2. That's actually on the docket. Hot Toys has teased that, which there was an interesting little thing in there that we need to talk about, which we will. And of course, we'll talk about pre-ordering. I ran another poll, so that's going to be a fun discussion. Guys, a lot of fun topics for you this Friday. So thank you so much for joining us. Dean the Dream, bro. Thank you, bro, for coming back 2 weeks in a row. That's got to be some kind of record. How you doing, man? This fine Friday.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, no complaints here, man. I got my sweet tea. I'm ready to stream, buddy.
Are you getting Texas barbecue tonight?
No. I think I don't know. I'm doing something special tomorrow. I didn't get to see my mom on Mother's Day, so I'm taking her out of town. So I'll probably get some pork chops tomorrow, but we'll see.
With the pork chops, Dean, do you cook them yourself, or are they done?
Oh, well, we're gonna go somewhere to eat.
Oh, you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna get the pork chops and grill them yourself or something.
Oh no, I usually
that's
do.
The kind of shit I want to see.
Yeah, me and my sister cook out almost every night, so it's usually meat. I mean, look at me.
So if I come to Texas, we'll grill some shit.
Hell yeah, dude! Zach's a really good.
Is he?
A grillsmith? I don't know what you call him, but Zach knows his way around the
grill master.
A grill master.
Grill master. Well, see, Keco didn't grill me anything. Keco didn't grill me anything in Tennessee. He was going to, but I don't know if it was the weather, but he cooked me every single meal, Dean.
I air fried. I mean, honestly, some next level stuff.
Yeah, it was air fried to perfection, bro.
You know what they say? I'd rather be a fence post in Texas than king of Tennessee.
Is that what this is?
I was going to say, about a song? Is that a tweet?
It sounds like a tweet or a rap or something.
I'd rather be a fence post in Texas than what'd you say, a king in Tennessee?
That actually, Keco, so no one take that. We got to copyright that right now because
I don't know where I heard that before.
But Will, you were on Broadway with me. Can't you picture me in those honky tonks singing that song?
Yeah, I definitely could.
All the bitches on the party buses sitting there shaking their stuff at us.
Dude, the bitches on the party buses gave no fucks. When I walked past, and you could see it in the vlog I recorded, the girl was just dancing as I was filming her. She enjoyed it. So
I mean, they're not from there, so they're going back to wherever they came from. So they're going to do everything to act an ass. That's what Nashville is becoming. So.
Is that what they do?
Well, I was going to ask, are you guys in Nashville? Because it sounds like Nashville.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was
Nashville, of course. Yeah, Nashville. Yeah. So unfortunately, you do have to deal with that. And apparently, you have to buy things to use the bathroom downtown. And so Will's like, I gotta go pee. I was like, well,
yeah, I had to pee so bad.
I was like, let me go find something. And it's like, no, we're closed. And we went to this Taco Bell, and they're like, we have no bathrooms here. And then I went into this little ice cream parlor, and I was like, can I get a milkshake so he can piss? And he's like, okay, yeah, cool. And it was a great milkshake. So there you go.
Yeah, and it was great piss. So it was
all
around. It was a win.
Yeah,
it was a win all around. Everybody won. So yeah, but happy to have you here, Dean, bro. Like I said, I'm still planning that trip, Texas. So I gotta talk to Zach too. So, but yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Mr. Keco Collects, how are you doing this fine Friday in Tennessee? Hopefully, there's no tornadoes over there.
Well, you can see it's getting a little dark outside. We are due some rain tomorrow. But I think we're good for now. I'm really excited to say that I have gotten my yard ready, and we have planted all the new stuff. The mulch is down. It looks exceptional. Will, when you stopped by, going back to your when your trip was here, it was not in the tip top of shape, but now I'm proud to share it because Dave from Typical Nerd Talk and ICCC will be here next week, and he's going to see a full yard at full power. And so I'm very excited about that. We had eliminated the mole situation. I tell you that we had moles last week.
No, you have moles?
Apparently. Yeah. Like the little things that burrow. And I happened to walk out to my garden one day, and I like, what are these hills here for? And so I immediately went to get the sonic spikes from Lowe's, threw those things bad in there, and after a few days they were gone. And no, it does not harm them, it just hurts their ears, and they're like, I'm out, and they dip to some other yard. And so that's what we do. So no animals were harmed in the making of that yard. And then to address the chat, some people are saying, what happened to Handsome Butters and nice haircut? If you can't tell, we are doing a little bit different haircut, because we're ready for the summer, things like that. So we're a little bit short on the sides, a little bit longer on top, as opposed to just the Handsome Butters mess. So to answer all your questions out there for our.
That's what I used to have, Keco, when I had hair. It was like trimmed down / shaved on the sides, and then you would keep it longer on the top. So
yeah, that's the way to roll.
That's the style, bro. Did Amy cut it for you?
Of course, she does all my hair.
Okay, nice. See, that's got to pay off, bro. How much money do you save in haircuts?
For real, because the Nashville haircut barber scene is wild.
Yeah.
Like before I met her, like I was paying like 20. Some people say this isn't expensive because you could be paying a lot more, but I was paying like 25 every 2 weeks to get my haircut.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds about right. In Maryland, that's probably about what I was with tip. I was probably paying.
So let's say $60 a month was going to hair.
Yeah. And see, now it's so much simpler for me. I mean, I spend on razors, but that's about it. So, I mean, trust me, guys, if you're balding, just embrace that shit. Go with it. Trust me. Grow a beard, you'll be fine.
I had a friend from high school who was balding very early, and he refused to let it go. And all of us were just like, bro, just.
Is it like the George Costanza or the Hulk
just
Hogan?
Embrace it.
Yep.
Yeah, and he finally just embraced it, and he looks phenomenal. And it's like, bro, you look amazing.
Especially if you can grow a little bit of facial hair, dude. It'll change your life.
Oh, that's exactly what he did. He offset it with a big old beard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you got to show that you can grow hair somewhere, right? That's
welcome to this bespoke podcast as we talk about all things male grooming.
Get a manscape. So that's next on the docket. Yes. So anyway, guys, let's address the chat real quick before we jump into our first topic of the evening. We got some chats here. Arc Captain Fordo 77. Let's freaking go. We shall. Dinesh Thea Garage, a channel member. Thank you so much, Dinesh. Good to see you, bro. As always, hope to see you, Dinesh, at San Diego Comic-Con. I will still be there despite the disappointment of Sideshow not attending. Mark Attack. What is up, Mark? Hello, everybody. Wanda Wynn. I know. We were talking about Wanda before the show, actually. Maybe we should bring her up on the live. Ro Moreno. What's up, Ro? What's up, man? Good to see you. Ro has the same God of War statues that I have, which I always love mentioning that because he's the only other one that I know that has them. Benner Benny in the house. What is up? Thalia Meyer, fellow Loki fan. Hello, Thalia. Good to see you. Connor said, hey, guys, does anyone have any friends within Hot Toys to see what the F is going on with WandaVision Wanda? No, unfortunately, because if they did, I would share that.
I don't have any friends. So
yeah, besides us, Dean.
Yeah,
and Zach. Yeah, but that's it. And Ox Daddy. Marco Polo. What's up, Marco? Good to see you, bro. Jeff G. And Dinesh said, I'll be surprised if they release the 20. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. No one spoiled that one. Eager to hear the hot takes over Sideshow Comp. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Mike Fella. Hey, everyone, that smirk on Starlord's face looks so good. He got a sneak at the Fox's feet. Yeah. Might as well have. All right, Bruce, you're going to make me do this. A friendly neighborhood fox and his owl lost in the forest, only to find themselves being hunted by Death Eaters in search for Starlord because he told Voldemort that he looked like an albino lizard. Bruce always gives me these like tongue twister sort of speaking, I guess, lines from the script. So,
what did we just read? What is this from?
He makes it up, dude. Oh. Bruce always makes it up every live stream. He just comes up with shit and puts it in a poem or something. I don't know. Might as well be a haiku at that point.
I think it is a haiku, honestly.
Yeah, it might be. Someone check the syllables on that. But 1/6 shooter really going to be tough to resist that Potter. Hey, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that. Let's see. Collector Joey is here on his commute home. Almost certainly. Good to see you, Joey. Congrats on the 1K, bro. Daniel Yo-Yo, Sam Logan, Thorn Stars, Paul Sue, morning handsomes, morning fellow handsome. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul Sue. 1/6 figure shot. Hey, let it go. Keco is no longer Handsome Butters. He is still Handsome Butters, just with a different haircut. He's going on a character arc. It's development, so it's fine. It's fine.
This is my villain arc.
Collectible chats. Daniel, Arshak Nima. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Do you think we'll ever get we were just talking about this, actually. Do you think we'll ever get a Revenge of the Sith Anakin 2.0? Yes, but my patience is starting to wane, and it's going to be really interesting to find out. G17 Collectibles is here. Dan and Carbonite. Guys, there are a lot more chats, and I would love to get to them all, but I don't want to waste 2 minutes time here and not get to our first topic. I want to address something really, really exciting here. And this is actually a sign. InArt is alive. Guys, for anyone who was wondering, Is InArt still making figures? They are, in fact, making figures. And now what they've done is they have shown that they're making a Harry Potter figure, which we knew, but we never got to see it, right? So what they've done now is shown a pre-order saying, hey, this Harry Potter figure is going up for pre-order. And you can see here on, it looks like May the 23rd, which is a couple days from now, this Potter figure will be up for pre-order. And I guess the question there becomes, should collectors pay attention to this? Because at the end of the day, Harry Potter, see, I have my suspicions, guys. I have my suspicions that Harry Potter is not as popular among collectors as people think it is. I think people collect Harry Potter, but high-end collecting Harry Potter. That's my question, right? I think people will go and buy a wand at Barnes & Noble or go to Harry Potter Land or whatever, right? But as far as buying a high-end collectible, I think InArt's making a good case, though, because this figure looks pretty good. Keco, I do want to start with you on this one because I know I sent you this the day of. Should collectors pay attention to this Harry Potter figure? Because I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
It looks good. I'm trying not to be an ass about it or whatever.
Be an ass, dude. It's fine.
So objectively,
let her rip.
Objectively, you can say that this is a cool looking figure. I told you I did not get into Harry Potter. I loved Hogwarts Legacy. That's different. I loved that. I love wizards. I love magic. I love all that stuff. But I could never get into the Harry Potter franchise. I've told you that ad nauseum. So as someone who doesn't like gravitate towards Harry Potter, I can objectively look at this and say, this is cool. My issue is they're starting with the little kid. And I understand, well, let's start from the beginning. You know, that's what people want to do. This is the one from the first film when, you know, they're what, 9, 10, 12. I don't know the lore. Forgive me. Everyone's probably losing their minds in the chats potentially. They're 12 years old or something like that. They find out, they get their little letter, let's go to wizarding camp and all that and whatever. So all that to say is, should collectors pay attention? Pay attention to what? The fact that it's not going to be here for years? The fact that this is in line with other figures that are well ahead of it in the production and you won't be seeing this, like I said, for years? Is this something that's going to get Potterheads out? I think so, because people love to just waste money on Harry stuff. They really do. I mean, people spend so much money on scarves and badges. You're going to tell me that they're not going to get a high-end detailed collectible like this of, in their mind, the way that they believe Harry Potter should look and be? There's a lot of uproar about them redoing the Harry Potter show and recasting. So this is going back to the well of who the definitive version of Harry is. Now, this is not the definitive version because this is not the one who fights Voldemort, but that's a conversation for another time. Should collectors pay attention? Well, know that it's here. Know that you can pretty much get it if you really want it. But I'm still so salty, Will, about the InArt Joker situation. I'm still so damn salty that I don't understand why it took me so long for it to get here. And I understand that I don't want to name drop or name call or anything like that. It should not have taken me that long to get my figure. So if this means something to you and you want this figure, sure, go ahead and pre-order it. If you're looking for a deal, you need to think about it later, whatever. This is still going to be around. They're still opening up. How many times do they reopen the Joker pre-orders? How many times are they still keeping the Batman stuff open for pre-order? I don't think that there's going to be any issue unless they're like, hey, final days. Because if you go to 1/6 Kit, where a lot of people go, once again, not affiliated with the show or anything like that, but if it's on the webpage, you can get it, essentially. And there's still stuff that was apparently closed that is still on the webpage that you can get. So I don't buy anything anymore. Well, I buy plenty of stuff, but I don't buy the fact that things are going to just disappear and be discontinued. So way to go off, Potterheads. I hope you're excited. It is what it is. InArt Daenerys win is my question, because I thought that was going to be the next thing that was supposed to be coming, and I don't see that. And the ladies I want in my life outside of Amy are not here, Wanda and Daenerys. So I don't care at this point what InArt's doing. So until the thing I want shows up, I'm not going to be interested.
Well, here's the other thing, Keco. They also haven't shown Legolas or Jon Snow either, or they haven't shown Arthur Fleck, which are figures that I really want. They may not be. I mean, Legolas, some people think he's kind of ladylike, but he's not. He's just a beautiful elf, right? He's a good looking, handsome elf.
Yeah, he's a magical
Yeah, he's a
man.
beautiful man elf. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he's eternal, so his beauty is eternal, I guess, apparently. But I will say, as far as Harry Potter is concerned, it looks phenomenal. I cannot deny how good this looks, and I got to give credit where credit is due to InArt that they are really making really good prototypes. And look, at the end of the day, man, Keco, I totally understand where you're coming from with the Joker. I do feel like overall, we talked about though, the Joker did deliver on the quality for the most part for
Well,
you,
like I
and
said,
it
maybe
did
I'm
for
just
me
still
too.
salty, but I like said I waited this long for this, and I wasn't blown away. Mainly because we talked about
Right.
last week. I have to take I still haven't done it yet. I have to go get a wet paintbrush to fix my hair on my $1,000 figure. What's going to happen to this? Is he going to come out looking like he's from a 70s disco bar with like a giant fro hair? I mean, we don't know what the other rooted hairs look like. We just don't. And if it's going to be
Right.
that up and down in quality, that's my thing. And I know the whole thing with Joker's got rooty, nasty, grimy hair. That's fine. I want to see what the Batman looks like. I want to see the Aragorn one. I want to see this because right now I'm a little nervous about going rooted with some of the stuff. And if you went apparently sculpted, you get it a lot faster. So maybe rooted's not everything that everyone made it out to be.
I guess we'll see. Pennywise and Gandalf should be the next Telltales, so I guess we'll see. But Dean, what do you think, bro? I don't know if you're a big Potterhead, but should collectors pay attention to this InArt Harry Potter? Because at very least, it's interesting and it's well done, but do people care? What do you think?
Yeah, you made a good point about Harry Potter collectors not really being high end. Now, we've seen Harry Potter figures from Star Ace, which aren't the best, but they're certainly better than the shit they're putting out today. I don't know how Star Ace is still popping figures out because they're atrocious, but they were okay for when they came out. And I think there was a couple Metacom Harry Potter figures. But yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of 6-scale collectors in the Harry Potter sphere, but that could also be because there's not a lot of options. So this is very cool to see. I'm also kind of gonna agree with Keco with if I was gonna have a Harry Potter in my collection, it wouldn't be the child Harry Potter. Be later on when he's a little more mature and
Where he
a
actually
little more
knows a damn
kick ass.
spell.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of nostalgia here for people were this age when this movie came out. I was really little when this movie came out, so I get it. But at the rate at which InArt is popping out figures, it's like, I mean, you can't just have Harry Potter. You need Ron and Hermione. You know what I mean? It's like, when are those gonna fucking come out? It's like, it's tough to get excited.
When the Justice League being completed makes more sense than the Harry Potter line.
Yeah, it's a little. It's a good looking. I think it looks like him. That little goofy little fucking round face Harry Potter. Like they nailed it. I think it looks fantastic. But I am in no. I would not add this to my collection.
Jake Lloyd looks awesome here.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's hard to get fucking pumped for it. Like Kika said, Daenerys would have been really cool to see. Another Lord of the Rings figure would have been great. I know we already have 2 from Lord of the Rings, but it's like at least they'd be like close to finishing a line,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we knew Harry Potter was in the pipeline, so it's not like it's just like a huge surprise. It's just like, oh, Harry's next. Okay, I guess, but
they did tell us, Harry was next. Yeah,
it's fine. It's kind of non-offensive, but also like that's not necessarily good,
Right. Well, because also, guys, let's predict this. So, Dean, what do you think? What do you think of a price for this guy for rooted? And is the owl like real feathers? I don't know, right? Like, I'm guessing it's held by magnets on Harry's arm. Maybe Harry's arm has a magnet or something. I don't know. But what do we think on price? He's a smaller figure. Smaller figure, right? So maybe 400 with rooted.
What was Gandalf? 5?
He was like 5, but he had a beard and shit. He had a beard and a whole head of hair, and he's really tall.
Yeah, so, I can't imagine this being close to 4, maybe 350.
I was gonna say 350 is probably fair.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is the
350,
equivalent of a Jawa.
Yeah, unless he comes like jam packed with a bunch of shit, like his Quidditch uniform. Or does he play Quidditch in this movie? I guess he doesn't.
No, this is like 5 years. That's like 5 films later.
Yeah, I don't think so. But he would have a wand. He would have, you
The
know,
broom.
I don't remember
Does he
what
get
else.
a broom this early? I don't remember.
Maybe
this
they'll give
movie.
him a broom or something. I don't know. They didn't give Pennywise much. They didn't give Pennywise much in terms of accessories. So I don't know if Harry would
Like,
be
what would
that
his
much
base
different.
be? A book or something? Like standing
Like
on
a
a book?
stone.
Probably
I mean,
like
they
a
gave-
staircase, like a stairs of Hogwarts or something.
that'd be
like
cool.
that, probably. Yeah, probably. Something
Yeah,
similar
they
to
got to
that.
supplement because it's such a small figure. They got to supplement it with other shit.
People are
And
saying
the chat
he
is telling
does
us he did play
Quidditch.
Quidditch. Yeah.
Oh,
So
excuse me, Potter
Okay.
fans. My bad.
I honestly don't. It's been
Kiko, you committed a sin there.
No, I
It's
know that
so
because
long.
I don't know the lore enough.
Yeah.
I've seen them once. I've read part of the books, and I played Hogwarts Legacy. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been so long since I've watched these films that it sounded right that he played Quidditch in this movie. Yeah, I think he gets the golden snitch in the first movie. So
Right.
yeah, gotta have a golden snitch or stitch, whatever the
A
fuck it
chocolate
is.
frog.
That'd be nice.
A sorting hat, perhaps.
That'd be
A
cool.
sorting hat would be
Honestly, like
nice.
there's a lot of like tiny things they could jam pack into this package because they did it with the Batman.
Yeah,
with,
they give
like,
us a pack of 52
the
playing cards
letters,
for poker.
like a computer that you saw for like a second, fucking like flowers and shit. Like, so they could put a lot of little things in this package to really like set it off. That would be cool to see. But as this tease right now, like it's cool.
I mean, you can't deny the head sculpt. It's really good.
I think it
But
looks like I've already heard people complaining about it, but I think like
really.
I think
What
they
kind of
nailed
person
it.
complains
Honestly.
about this?
I do
Seriously.
that's like 100% right there. I mean, I can't deny that the figure is great. Like, you know, as far as like you know, for example, that would be like complaining about the Aragorn head sculpt. The Aragorn head sculpt, there's nothing wrong with that head sculpt. It's literally perfection. So
The
yeah, it
latest
seems-
version they showed.
the
Yeah,
latest
I'll
one.
wait for the Return of the King version.
Yeah, right. There'll be another one, Gigo. There'll be a definitive version.
I need the battle damaged Aragorn.
Battle damage Aragorn. Dude, that would be could you imagine like from Helm's Deep, battle damage Aragorn? Dude, that would be dope. Kiko, you just gave InArt, write that down because that was free advice right there.
Helm's
Will they
Deep-
ship my shit faster if I give them an idea?
That's
Yeah, why not?
that's actually man. Because like Helm's Deep Legolas is so cool. Because
Yeah,
he's got like the leather armor, his outfit's really cool. So if you got a Helm's Deep
he's sliding
Legolas,
downstairs, bro.
Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn, that'd be fucking.
That's why,
bad.
dude. As much as people say, some people said in the chat, Legolas win, bro. I'm super excited to see that Legolas. I can't wait to see that. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's coming anytime soon, but we do got to point out, like you pointed out, Dean, the pace that InArt is moving. Right? They're
Yeah.
releasing.
Molasses,
They're
dude, in a
announcing
fucking
2 to 3
snowstorm.
figures a year. Like that's probably about right? Probably announcing 2 to 3, maybe 4 figures a year. Like
And then
that's
producing
it's
one.
right.
That ain't gonna. You're
Right.
eventually gonna get a backlog that you can't. You're gonna end up with like 10 on pre-order and releasing like 1 or 2 a year, and people are gonna not be happy about that, and that's not sustainable.
Right. Yeah. So I guess we're going to see. I mean, because it doesn't seem like Pennywise and Gandalf are imminent in terms of release. Like they posted that update maybe by the end of Q3, maybe at best for Pennywise. Like I don't know. But it's going to be a while. But I mean, look, most people are willing to wait for quality. But like you said, Kiko, I think there is a line somewhere. There is a line collectors will draw where they'll be like, for most collectors, where they'll be like, I don't want to wait that long, right? Like, so. Yeah, especially when Hot Toys is pumping out things pretty quickly, but can't deny the quality. I mean, I love my InArt Joker. The magnets aside, look, the rest of the figure I think looks fantastic. Putting the head on
Yeah.
was not fun, but you know.
I mean, you almost have no choice but to wait in some instances. Like Hot Toys is not going to touch
Right.
Harry Potter.
Supposedly
need
they
a
did,
Harry
remember
Potter-
they posted that update. Didn't they say they were going to make it a while back?
Like it's acquiring the license.
I thought I thought they posted something. You guys in the chat will have to let me know. I thought Hot Toys posted something about that they got the Harry Potter license. I thought maybe it was just like a way to fuck with InArt, but I don't know. But I'm pretty sure people have to let me know in the chat, but I'm pretty sure they posted about something.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know
no
if they
one's
make
made
it.
Harry Potter stuff in a long time. Well, no, Hot Toys does make Harry. Well, they make Wizarding World stuff. They did.
Right.
They did
Oh
like
yeah, the
Cos
Fantastic
Babies and stuff?
Beasts. No, they did.
Oh, they did Fantastic Beasts,
Fantastic
right?
Beasts,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, they did
Right.
Newt and Grindelwald.
And Johnny
Yeah.
Depp. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, shit. Well, Hot Toys
Nobody
is a
bought
fucking...
those, but
I
you know,
did, but I haven't
Zach
heard
yeah,
of
they're
bought
great
I get the
figures,
Johnny Depp
but
stuff.
they were so discounted, bro. So cheap.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, let us know in the chat below. We have an 84% no on Harry Potter right now. So
One of the things I was going to say, the last thing, is that
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see Potterheads getting this, but not 6-scale collectors. Does that make sense? Like the only people who would get this are the people that need the Harry merch. Like they got the scarves, they got the stuff that sitting in their house. So this would be like the one big piece to put next to their stuff, and that's something that they see and gravitate towards. But the average 6-scale collector wouldn't.
But they even know this exists? Like
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because it'll make the rounds. I mean, I'm sure that this is out. They'll be like, "Oh man, did you see that Harry Potter figure?" Because people went.
Yeah.
I mean, how did they find the Star Ace stuff? I mean, people found that.
Harry Potter.
Well, I think you know what, because Dean raises a very valid question. You know what I think would have to happen for general Potter fans to know about this? It would have to gain as much hype as the Aragorn did, where someone like substantial would cover it. Like maybe someone like IGN or something says, "Oh, look at this high-end Harry Potter figure," and then people would know about it, right? So that's, other than that, I don't know. This is like such a niche hobby. You know what I mean?
Someone
Like
just said Potterheads ain't dropping $500 on a figure when they drop $30 on Butterbeer at Universal Studios. Come on, people are going to pay the money.
Yeah, I don't know if this will be 500 either. I think, well, maybe it's with the accessories, maybe that it will pump up to that point, but I'm thinking more like 350, like you guys said. But it's, I mean, it's a tiny figure, so I guess we'll see. He has glasses. That could be something that could add to the cost, I guess. But anyway, guys, let us know. Yeah,
They're
right. They're probably like legitimate. They're probably like legitimate prescription lenses, knowing InArt. So yeah, but guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. We got a couple super chats that I want to hit real quick. And I'm so sorry that Melon does not let me save these, so I have to scroll back up every single time. But Ben or Benny, thank you so much. I'm not a fan of any InArt license, but I can't miss out on quality. I've pre-ordered all their figures. Wow. So you got the whole InArt line. Hey, you dude, that sounds great. I mean, the quality I think will be pretty awesome. I mean, I have most of them on pre-order. I have 2 Pennywises actually, which I'm still kind of up in the air about. But I have Gandalf. I bought Joker, obviously the 2-pack. So I'm not getting Batman, but yeah, with you guys, Dean, are you getting any of these InArt figures?
No.
No.
I really wanted the Gandalf, but I could not justify the price. I don't love Gandalf. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like
$500 bucks. Like I like Gandalf. I didn't even buy the what's the company that makes them?
Asmus. Yeah.
Asmus. I didn't even get, and those were like $350.
And it came with a horse.
Yeah. So it's like not for me. And I was tempted by the Batman, but for save a few dollars, get the Hot Toys. It's not, unless you're going rooted, it's not that much better, I don't think.
Okay. Well, Keco, what about you? Are you pre-ordering any more InArt figures after your Joker situation?
I really am not. I will probably balk once the Daenerys, whenever that is shown. That has my interest because I want a real Daenerys for my Thrones collection. And I will get the Michael Jackson one way or the other when that one does come. Because if they're going to do Mike the right way, yeah, I'll get Mike. But there's no other, they don't hold any other license I actually care about.
That Michael Jackson is rumored to be shown soon.
Other than the Joaquin Phoenix, that too.
Right. So the Joaquin Phoenix, that one's going to be a pricey boy though. That one's going to be like $1,000. Yeah. But we're going to see, because I know John talked about it possibly being a 2-pack, possibly not, but it has to be like about $1,000. So it's going to be limited edition though, and numbered probably.
Then
so
and tell me that up front then, because if they want to get, once again, exclusivity. So if they want me to be interested, let me know, hey, you got to get this in quick, and then incentivize me to do so, and then get it to me in a reasonable amount of time, and then I'll play ball again. But was not happy with the first round for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, we got another super chat from Batman Collectibles. Thank you so much, Ben or Benny, by the way. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. And thank you so much, Batman Collectibles. He said, a friend of mine just texted me asking me why so many people are selling their InArt rooted Jokers. I've seen quite a few pop up on 1/6 BFC's pages. Honestly, bro, you know what I think it is? People they know that they can sell it for more than what they paid. So I think that's what it is. Like I've seen a few people who got the Rooted Deluxe and they got it. They might have paid a kit 1,096 or whatever it was, and they're selling it for 1,600, right? At that point, it's not, I don't really blame them necessarily. I'm not selling mine, but I think that's why. I think there were some people maybe, and especially in the beginning, because Todd from Spec Fiction told me as much. He said, when people originally were pre-ordering the Joker because it was a 3-day window, a lot of people then went and canceled it after InArt supposedly reopened it, or the retailers reopened it, right? At that point, he said a lot of people canceled because it wasn't as exclusive as they thought it was going to be. So I think a lot of people probably bought it for this reason. And maybe they were just like, man, I kind of wanted it. I thought it was kind of, I felt a little bit of FOMO, but now I'm selling it because I know I can cash in. So I can't blame them necessarily. But do you guys think that's probably the case?
Yeah. They know that they could make money on the deal.
So. Right. And I know some people specifically on Facebook threads bought 3 or 4 of them for that purpose because they knew people were going to want them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they just wanted the Rooted one and they're like, I don't need 2 of them. And they're parting out the other one.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, I've seen a lot of parting out, which we did predict, Keco. I think a lot of people did. People were like, yeah, they're probably going to keep the coated purple one, and then people are going to sell the little jail cell one. So yeah, that's definitely what's been happening. So anyway, guys, we got a Hot Toys announcement here recently, and I think this is pretty exciting. I do want to showcase a photo here. There were a couple of photos that were posted from Secret Base that I think, look, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one because at the end of the day, the head sculpt, I feel, I don't know the panel's opinion on this one, but the head sculpt I feel is very, very strong. But the question then becomes, is this, Keco hates this, is this the definitive Starlord, right? Because the outfit, now that's where I feel like the debate comes in. Because one, this one doesn't have a helmet, right? Which a lot of people really love Starlord and his helmet. And the outfit is sort of a team suit. So is that the definitive Starlord look that most people are going to go for? Is the figure really that good, though, is my question. And Keco, I do want to start with you on this one. I mean, to me, I think this head sculpt is pretty damn good. But what do you think about the overall package of this figure? Is this figure really that good? Something that people should consider adding to their collection?
It comes down to that definitive figure for you. And I will eat my words because this is not the prototype they showed us at all in the tease. You know, even with the rocket and in the tease of the team, this is not what they showed us because we could boost the brightness up and we saw that it was the original, you know, Infinity War Volume 2 head. They've got a brand new sculpt that looks exceptional. And finally, the hair is correct. That's what we've been wanting, is the hair to be correct. And I think that looks great. Now, the people that are saying, I want the helmet, why? That's my question, because if you want it to be the definitive version, he never wore that with the team suit. Now, actually, if you want to go and put the helmet on this one, yeah, you may have a very comic-y looking version if that's what you want to do, because this team suit is very reminiscent of the comic version. Throw the helmet on there if you have a previous version. Throw this sculpt on your Volume 2 Starlord, whatever it may be, and you got 2 really, really nice looking figures. And that's what I'm going to be doing personally. I'll grab this because I think the sculpt is phenomenal, especially the one on the far right where he's looking off a little bit with that little smirk. That's great. That is Starlord smacking on Gamora. I mean, that is it. That's cool. And I love that. And I think they did a great job. So this head sculpt will go on my Volume 2 version, which I think is the best, the definitive version that comes with the long coat, as well as the jacket, with the nice, you know, t-shirt underneath, with the headphones and, you know, all that stuff. So that's it for me. And then the helmet from Volume 2 will go on this, and I'll call it a day.
Does the Volume 2 Starlord have a neck? Because this is a necked head sculpt.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so that could be.
Yeah. Well, son of a bitch.
Yeah, Keco. See, this is why Dean is here, bro, to check you before you do something reckless.
Because I was thinking the same thing, but I have the Volume 1 Starlord, and it's a necked body, and you just swap the helmeted head with the.
Please hold. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, go check.
Please hold. So, Dean, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a great looking figure. I mean, that head sculpt alone is tempting. I'm not really as connected to the suit. I don't know, like when I also haven't seen this movie, so maybe when I, you know, finally watch it, I can have a better like understanding of if I want this or not. Because honestly, I think V1 Starlord is the best Starlord we've ever gotten, and I just bought the jacket from V2 and threw it on that figure, and I think it's phenomenal. So I am kind of due for a new Starlord. So this might be pretty damn tempting. I think it looks fantastic. Probably I think the best Starlord head sculpt we've ever gotten, Chris Pratt. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's great.
Well,
You don't have to
Dean,
worry
this
about
is tricky, bro. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you don't have to worry about the pleather.
Yeah.
If you have the elbows bent.
But I do worry about it being too thick, though, because if it's too thick, it's not going to move. You'll get the old Winter Soldier vibe like this, essentially. That should be it.
Right.
Bad news. Dean nailed this. It is 100% with the head that just pops onto, onto the neck.
Yeah,
it's not a good situation. What you could do, and I don't know if I have the ability to do that because I'm not very talented. Body swap potentially the entire swap this body out for the other one, but I don't know how it's going to end up looking. I mean, you have to cut the thing. Is it Velcro? Is it zipper? What's it going to look like? I do worry about that. So I guess there's going to be some mods out there for sure.
I mean, you could just get a generic true type body and
but once again, you still have to rip him out of this clothes, which I just don't do
that one will be very easy to do because it's just the jacket and the shirt and then the pants. This one will probably be almost impossible to get out of this without cutting stitches. So you really only need a body swap V2 with a body that accepts a neck. So
yeah, I mean, what a miss. Or maybe they knew that because people were just going to end up parting out the head. I don't know. But that sucks because I would want to put the helmet on this. So that doesn't address how to put the helmet on there because you would need to put this body in that suit, essentially, if you want to have the head. Unless there's bodies out there that are headless with necks, right?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Shit.
This whole thing's falling apart, everybody. I hate it.
I have the Infinity War Starlord, and I almost bought Volume 2 at one point, Dean, because I really, really like the Volume 2 figure. But I was like, am I really that big of a Starlord fan that I need Volume 2 instead of Infinity War? Because they're both great. It's funny. I generally prefer the helmeted look. However, if the head sculpt were this good, I don't think I would feel that way. Like, I think if the head sculpt, for one, if it comes out this good, that's probably the main question, right? If the head sculpt final product comes out pretty close to this, right? Which I hope it does, but you never know. Hot Toys, it can be a roll of the dice from time to time. I hope that it comes out looking this good. If it did, then I think you got a pretty damn good. This is clearly the best head sculpt they've ever done of him. I mean, the other ones are pretty good. This one's great. So, I mean, I just am not a huge fan of the team suit. Like, I think it's okay, but I just think it takes a lot of Star-Lord's personality away that's so present in the other figures.
Well, it takes away from all
especially
of them, because
Volume 2.
all of them are going to be wearing that team suit then. So if you want a Drax or whatever, you're not going to get him the shirtless tattooed version unless they do that underneath the suit, which I have a hard time thinking they would. It'll just be that suit. Same thing with the Rocket and the Nebula, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm frustrated
because a lot of people
I can't fix my.
A lot of people said, Keco, they were like, well, I want a Drax. Well, this is going to be opportunity, just not going to be a shirtless Drax.
Yeah. But also, you're going to have those collectors that want the latest and greatest, and they'll sell their other stuff. So you have a chance to get those on the rebound. So there's other opportunities to buy Nebula, Drax, Mantis, I guess, for the
Mantis.
Netflix
She's on that one
version.
Too. The holiday special.
Yeah, the holiday special. So
did you just call it the Netflix version?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Disney Plus version.
Might as well be, though. Might as well be the Netflix version. It's probably a good name for it. But guys, and maybe I'll be on the lookout for a Star-Lord Volume 2 now. But because I really do like that figure with the long, because Dean, you talk about that long jacket. That long jacket is so cool, bro. And the Infinity War one doesn't have that. It has everything else mostly, but not that long jacket.
That's why I kept V1, because I was like, I could just buy the jacket off of eBay, and then I have version 1 and version 2. The boots aren't great on version 1, but it's a very easy thing to overlook.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, guys, let us know in the comments below about Starlord. Right now, we got a poll running. 54% are saying they're picking up this Starlord. So I think people seem pretty jazzed about it. So I guess only time will tell. But guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. And Starlord, yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff nonetheless. We got something else, I guess, exciting. And I want to bring this up and talk about this because a lot of people have pointed out something that's really been quite disappointing, I guess you could say, to put it lightly. So this photo was shown, okay? Hot Toys posted this on social media, and there's that. What is that? There's like a meme or GIF or whatever with Captain America. It's like, yeah, so the comments are not going how you expected them to go, right? That's, I'd say, probably what happened here, right? Because look, if you're looking at really the stars of the show, you're like, oh, Miles looks great. Oh, Gwen looks great, and you're like, and that's a Marvel Legends. Like they threw a Marvel Legends in the middle of the screen here.
That's a Walmart Specials Titan series, is what that
bro,
is.
Keco, I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but as far as this angle of this photo, this figure looks really rough, really bad. It looks like a Marvel Legends. We got to see the rest of the figure. I don't know, but the head looks weird, does it not? The body looks weird. Like it's not even a suit. It's like I don't know.
It's a textured piece of plastic.
Right. So guys, overall though, Gwen looks great. Miles looks great. I'm excited to see more from this line because I'm really, really excited to see this film. I actually got to get my tickets. My brother was telling me we got to get our tickets for it because I love Spider-Verse 1. I saw they put Spider-Verse 1 Miles on sale yesterday. It was 20% off, I think, on Sideshow. So happy for the people that picked him up. I almost did. But that said, Keco, should collectors be excited for the Spider-Verse 2 line? Because, dude, not, $29.9 aside and how shitty it looks in this photo, think about how many Spider-Man figures you could get from this film. I mean, is that exciting to you?
I want people to keep the same energy. That's what I always say. If you did not get the volume 1 versions of these, which are literally the exact same figures, except probably less for what you're getting of Miles and Gwen, don't be hyping up saying, I'm going to buy every single one. No, you're not. You're not. Because that's literally a lesser figure standing behind that figure that we're going to talk about in a second. But so let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the big plastic piece of shit in the room. This is what they do for characters that need posability, that are technically not going to be in. This is the way that Sully is. Okay. This is the way that Drax is. This is the way that a lot of those bigger figures are. And I mean, we saw it, the exposed joints with Carnage, and maybe we just got really excited about that. I mean, Carnage doesn't have the middle section, essentially, but maybe that's something that they're doing now, to where they're like, okay, you complained about posability? Fine, here you go. Double jointed, baby, and they just go ahead and put that hinge in there. I don't know. What will... for one, I told you I got this Gwen. I don't like it. I put the head on my I think Queen of the Dark Spider. I made like a Spider Gwen, essentially. I'm sorry. No, Venom Pool. Gwenum Pool. That's what I went through. No, what am I trying to say?
A Gwenum Pool. Yeah, it was a Gwenum Pool.
I made Venom Gwen. Anyway, I put that.
Yeah, he put his Spider-Verse Gwen's head on Lady Venom body. Yeah.
Yeah, and that looked good. All that to say, that's the only thing I liked about it, because these realistic head sculpts of these animated characters, everyone's like, oh cool, this is so neat. Where's Kingpin? I want that one too. They just don't do it for me. I know these are unique bodies, that they're very small, they're very fragile. They just don't do it for me. But I don't even know where I was going. I got so frustrated about that. If they end up giving you an unmasked sculpt of this one, what's that going to look like on this cheap ass body? I mean, because they already look like cheap figures already, because they're animated. They're not lifelike. They're not realistic. What would a plastic stylized that look like? And that what gives me pause for concern. If this is more than $200, I will lose my mind, because I have no idea why someone would pay that.
For the $20.99 one?
For the $20.99, yes.
Okay.
Because I know, I guarantee it's a brand new restyled body, because there's no other figure that has that. You probably can't use it on any other figure moving forward, because it's so unique and it's comically out of proportion. So And then all the people out there that were shitting on the original 2099, they're like, I don't like it. It's not posable enough. Now, guess who's laughing? Because at least that one was an actual Spider-Man in a suit.
Yeah.
This needs to be about a 150 line, like $150 for these type of figures, in my opinion. This is like the Sideshow equivalent of something where they're still high-end collectibles. They're still nice, but don't you dare start approaching $300 on any of these things at all. I should not be excited. No.
Well, because the original Miles is what, $265?
That's insane. Like that. But he comes with so much stuff. It's a piece of pants and some shoes and some hands. Come on.
Without the Nike logo on them. That's
Without the Nike
only
logo.
reason I did not buy that figure is because they didn't bother with the Nike logo.
And then they're like,
I think it was a
three head sculpt. Yeah, it's the same head sculpt. They just happened to lower the helmet down a little bit each time. And that's like, you didn't do anything special with that. Come on.
Yeah. Well, dude, I've been tempted by that figure so many times because I love the film. But when I look at the figure, a lot of people say that it's the best figure of whatever. I think it was last year that it came out, right? Or the year before.
And that blows my mind. I'm glad people are excited. I know. I'm glad
everyone loves it.
Not me.
But it's just funny, Keco, when I look at it.
When we went to replay, I'm like, here it is in hand. I'm like,
Well, see, that's the thing, Keco. And we saw it in hand at replay, right? So it's just when I love the character, but when I look at the figure, I'm like, does it have enough shelf presence where I'm like overwhelmed with how good this looks, right? I like this character more than Mysterio, but do I think it's a better looking figure on my shelf than Mysterio? That's the tough part, right? And I still love Mysterio. I think he's great, but stuff like that, right? So those are decisions collectors are going to have to make. But as far as how different are these figures going to be than the original versions? That's the question, right? Especially Spider-Gwen, because Spider-Gwen, you can still find her like super cheap. So if they do make her again, it's got to be substantially different to warrant a remake.
Cardboard pieces, maybe.
Right, exactly, something like that. But Dean, what do you think? I mean, should collectors be excited about this line? I mean, it does seem like an exciting film, but that $20.99, questionable.
Yeah, it's honestly, I can't think of a single reason why they did this for $20.99, because it's like Keco said, like, oh well, it's a bigger body, it needs articulation. It's like, okay, but they did the body. What's stopping them from just slapping a suit on top of it?
But they texturized this body. It's odd. You can see the texture on it.
So it's like you have the body.
It was intentional. It was intentional.
Wrap it in the suit because it's gonna stand out on the shelf and it's gonna look fucking weird. It's like I'm buying a Hot Toys. I'm not buying a Mondo figure. If I wanted a comic Mondo figure, I would have just bought that. This is bizarre, and especially for a character that's so important to the film. It's not like it's going to be a fucking Spider-Punk that you might see for 8 seconds on screen. It's the main antagonist of the film. So it's like, why is it so vastly different? And in terms of the stylized proportions of the characters, I'm with you, Will. I don't think they lend well to your overall display. I think if you really like these characters, I think a 12 scale is probably better. Like the Marvel Legends, the Figuarts, or the I forget the other company that did the Miles, but it's fantastic. But the first figure took so long to come out that the second movie is already coming out.
Good point.
That first figure's only been available for like less than a year, I think. It has not been that long since those figures came out. So it's like is this? I honestly think if you really want a Miles or Gwen, yeah, buy the first ones because they're cheaper as shit, and totally pass on this $20.99 because it's just gonna look fucking weird on your shelf. It's not gonna match. It's such a weird
Dean, I don't know how they could put the figure out looking like this. I mean, maybe it's like a stand-in or something, and they're working on it. But this is an atrocity.
At least fucking tell us prototype right here, like
right. This is rough.
I mean, you can see the neck is articulated. You can move it forward, and I mean, I guarantee you, it's going to be like one of those, like in art class, like the little models you can move around essentially and like pose, like to get like form and things like that. It might be like that. It may be the most articulated figure they've ever created because it's got neck rotation and all this. Who knows? But
now I will say, because I own the figure, the 3-0 Guts from Berserk.
Yeah.
That is not on a traditional 6-scale body. It is like this. It is just a large action figure. But Guts also has a bunch of armor, a lot of elevated pieces of armor and floating pieces that when you pose it, it kind of, the articulation disappears in that figure. That is not going to happen with this. It's going to look, I don't want to say goofy, but it's going to look weird.
Yeah.
Because at least with the Miles and the Gwen, the bodies are underneath a suit. So
and you guys made, so Dean, and I want to touch on this because you guys made a really interesting point that I do want to follow up on. So let's tie this into the idea of what Clone Wars has been like, right? Hot Toys has taken all those Clone Wars figures and they said, you know what, we're going to give you realistic head sculpts instead. But this Spider-Man, they didn't do that. There must have been some sort of license thing or something where they were like, we want you to make it kind of as is, right? Because Hot Toys seems to not really want to do that much. I mean, Buzz Lightyear, I guess, is another example, but think of it like this. With Spider-Gwen and Miles, you can put them on your shelf in a display with other Marvel figures, and they will fit in if you have the masks on. If you take the mask off, then at that point, you're starting to mix in with figures where it's going to look a little bit out of place, in my opinion, because you have a realistic head sculpts, then you have this one animated head sculpt right next to it, right? So you can avoid that just by putting the masks on them. I get that, but still, I'm wondering, would people have been, guys, let us know in the chat too, in the comments if you're watching the clip, would people have been upset if they made these realistic head sculpts? What do you guys think?
I don't know how you would do a realistic head sculpt of that. I mean,
well, it's kind of no different than Clone Wars, right? I mean, it's like,
you're not wrong, but
I know what you're saying.
Tano doesn't look like Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Now, I'm happy that she's on my shelf and can fit in with my other Star Wars figures, but I think I would have been just as happy if she just looked like
the animated version.
Yeah. I think it'd be weird if they were realistic. These.
Well, if you go back to the old Sideshow clones or whatever, they gave us the animated heads or whatever, but those didn't look as bad, but they also weren't. I don't know if you could do that with these because they are so stylized, and that's the whole point of Into the Spider-Verse is that they're. I mean, look at the proportions of 2099. I mean, they are stylized for effect. The Kingpin is shaped like a giant bus, essentially, with like a little tiny head. I mean, that's not going to work as a figure.
Yeah,
you know, there's no way you can do that.
Realistic head sculpt on the proportions of these bodies, even
it
the Spider-Man,
it would not even be the same franchise at that point.
Yeah, it'd be very weird.
Right. But again, I guess there is a comment I saw. They had live action counterparts for Clone Wars to sort of make them off of. But I don't know. It would be a challenge. But it's interesting. But look, and no one's denying the quality of these characters. I love the film. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's the best Spider-Man film maybe I've ever seen. Like it has been for the longest time. So
yeah, and I want to clarify. I think this Spider-Man 2099 looks cool. I don't think it looks cool as a Hot Toys.
Yeah, it's a Mondo. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, yeah, this looks cool, but if you're trying to put a display around these things, it's just so jarring. It's like, why is that one so different?
Like put that next to Captain America, and it would, like the Chris Evans Captain America, it would look ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Put it next to the Tom Holland Spider-Man, it would look ridiculous.
Yeah,
but like I said, Gwen and Miles could work. Yeah, they could work.
Yeah, you could kind of futz them in, you know, if you pose them well and kind of hide their proportions. And these aren't, the proportions on these aren't as exaggerated as like even the Marvel Legends, but you could put them on any shelf and futz them in. This 2099 is why?
All they got to do is release Peter B. Parker, and people will shut up about it because that's the one they've been wanting since the first film. And
yeah, because
Kiko, you know how people are.
Yeah, but
Keco, you even said that you know, with like Venom and Carnage, they have joints, but those are also not like traditional bodies, right? They're like fleshy and kind of what's the word? You know,
textured, organic.
They're like gooey.
Yeah, they're like gooey. So, but it's like, but this is just a guy in a suit. So that articulation doesn't lend to this character. It's so weird. I don't get it at all.
Right.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I'm not at all understanding why they chose to do this, but we'll see because they haven't officially announced the figure yet. This will probably be, they just probably stuck a Mondo figure in there and they were like, oh, whoops, we put the wrong one in there. So that, and then they posted it.
I mean,
I don't know.
We've seen them do this before and they just black out the figure.
Good point.
Right.
So it's like,
or blur it or something, but
yeah,
but I
like,
mean, look, people love that Miles Dean from the first one. And I get it. People love it. And that's great. Like, I've considered getting it for a while now. And I've kind of just held off, which kind of tells me I maybe don't want it that much. But, a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of comments, people think it's figure of the year and that's great. It's just, it is a smaller figure, right? So, and you do get a lot of display options. I love him with the hoodie on him. So I would want to try that at some point, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I mean, I think we're all excited for the film and we're all excited to see. I mean, this could be a deep line, but I guess we'll see. The first one could have been a deeper line and they only did 3 figures from it. So, or two. So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you count Spider Ham, but that was actually a pretty cool one. I actually really
That's true. That's a nice add-on.
And third-party companies were there to fill the void. You got a few Spider-Man,
Spider Noir,
Young Rich, and stuff like that.
And that's what I was about to say to you, Will. It's like when this comes out, you're going to have so many options to get this Miles. Whether it's Young Rich, there was another third-party company, and forget what the company was called. The Hot Toys, now a second Hot Toys. Now it's going to be a different suit, but it's like, buyer's market at that point.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Make sure to drop your thoughts about the Spider-Verse line and see what we're thinking there. I think could shape up to be a really nice one, but I guess we'll find out.
Figman makes a good point.
What did he say?
He says it's called Spider-Verse. Maybe it's a rendition of 29 from a different dimension in the film, like a dimension where they're
all action figures.
That would be fucking crazy.
I mean, the film is super clever, so I mean, it totally could be. Because they said there was a Lego one. Remember, they said there was a Lego universe, and they have confirmed that. So, so maybe that's what Hot Toys is doing.
Bro,
we're all going to look like fucking dumbasses.
If they're just trolling us with that, and that's actually true, then okay. I'll take it all back.
Then okay, we'll eat our words and we'll come back and apologize.
I have my
and then day one pre-order.
Right. Yeah, we'll dopo out of punishment. Yeah, exactly. Well, that said, Keco, that's a really good segue, bro. Because I want to ask the question, and I asked this on my community tab, on my, I asked a poll there, and I thought, hey guys, let's ask the people. Do people pre-order? I think someone commented and said, oh, like maybe another poll you could run is asking about pre-order. And I was like, that's actually a good idea. And I was thinking about doing that. So I'm glad that we're on the same page. That said, I'm going to zoom in a bit here. So I asked the question on the community tab. Do you pre-order Hot Toys? About 8 hours ago. And we have 370 votes on that poll, right? That's a lot. And 76% of collectors said that, yes, they still do pre-order Hot Toys. 24% said no. There were some interesting comments thrown in there. People saying like they do it mostly for ones that they'll regret missing out on when the release date is near for absolute must-haves. Nope from Connor, buy on release maybe later. And so look, I think this really varies all over the map. But what you can see here, over 3/4 of collectors, over 75% of collectors still pre-order Hot Toys, which is interesting because maybe they're pre-ordering and canceling, or maybe that's, I don't know, because Sideshow's changing everything, right? But I think they were struggling for pre-orders for a while. I think Sideshow was like, man, we really need to pump up these pre-order numbers. We need to put out some timed exclusives. We need to create some FOMO and do some other stuff, right? So I think they've really been wanting the pre-order game to step back up to maybe where it was during COVID times. But I asked the question, is pre-ordering Hot Toys dumb? Because we don't know what's going on right now. If you pre-ordered a Hot Toy last year or the year before, maybe at the time it wasn't, but it probably ended up being a poor decision, right? Because I did it. I pre-ordered some, and then I look back at it and I'm like, man, I could have got that figure for 30% off in a month, right? So the Sideshow was just discounting things left and right, and they still are for like that. I mean, you would have waited a long time for that Miles, right? But I'm asking the question, is it dumb? Because, there's a lot of options. You can buy things. One thing too, Keco and Dean, one thing that I've noticed, from certain resellers like Toys Buying Agent, right? If you could pre-order the figure from Sideshow, right, and pay U.S. retail price, or you could go and buy it day one from Toys Buying Agent for basically Sideshow price, maybe less, and you could get it right then instead of having to wait forever, right? Of course, you run the risk. Hong Kong resellers not always as reliable as Sideshow is. However, you can get it a lot quicker, and that matters to a lot of collectors. Keco, is pre-ordering Hot Toys dumb? Because a lot of collectors are doing it, but should they be doing it is the question.
There's two questions you need to ask, and I asked myself.
Yes.
If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, absolutely. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because you can get them anywhere. Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you pre-order a Hot Toy, especially months and years out? Screw that. Now, I have something. There it is. You like that?
Is that the DHL?
Yep. Please contact DHL. You know why? Because my package has been stuck in customs for 3 weeks. I wouldn't have had that issue from Sideshow, because it would come directly from them if I would have pre-ordered and had it sent. And isn't it ironic? Something that is currently sitting in damn customs right now is readily available on the Sideshow website right now. If I would have pre-ordered, I would have had it by now. But it is sitting in customs, and it may not even get to me. They may end up completely saying, you know what, it's illegal. Sorry, we're not releasing this. You're out. That's a possibility. So if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, yes, it's dumb. You ask me right now, hell no. Yes, absolutely. Pre-order, because who knows? I have pre-ordered Wanda 3 times and canceled her 3 times because I got tired. One, I got it day one when she was initial. Both of them, actually, the Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision. But the WandaVision, when I ordered immediately day one, the release date came, went. I was like, all right. I went ahead and canceled it because I get my deposit back. Okay, cool. Then I started saying, oh man, this is imminent, isn't it? When's it coming? Well, just in case, because Sideshow's been shipping it, I'm going to order it again. Did the same thing. And then it came and went. I'm just going to cancel it because it's coming soon. Now I'm wondering, because of this situation, should I go back and pre-order Wanda again? Because what if? Can you imagine, Will, if something happened and I did not get Wanda when it released? If Wanda got taken from me or something, they automatically, none of them are, you can't get it anymore. And I have to go to eBay or something. I'll get it one way or the other. But that's the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to deal with the risk of potentially not getting it? That's the one risk that you have to ask yourself. If you want to have one and you're US based or whatever it may be, then yes, if you want to ensure that you will get one, pre-order it 100%. If you're looking for a deal and you want to potentially save some money and it doesn't matter to you 100% if it's going to show up, and if you get it, great, cool. If not, whatever, then take your chances. But for me right now, I'm literally asking myself, do I need to go back? Because remember, Will, when I sent you that screenshot of all those Sideshow orders, that I was like, all right, I'm changing, I'm pre-ordering everything now. And I've pre-ordered like 50 different things. Now I canceled like half of those, but now I might go back tomorrow and like pre-order all these other things, because the other one is like, if an opportunity comes up for like a wait list, it's like, I got the thing. It's like, hey, your exclusive Mighty Thor with the cracked helmet, your waitlist converted. Would you like to get that? I'm like, well, it's probably going to be delayed anyway. I'll get the deposit back. And I went ahead and pre-ordered it. So, because I don't want a chance not getting that one. So I don't know if I even answered the question. Is pre-ordering Hot Toys dumb? Depends on the situation and depends on when you ask me. That's the only question. And right now, I'm pissed because I don't have what I got. And I don't know if I'm going to get it. And that's upsetting me. If I would have pre-ordered, wouldn't have been a problem.
Right. Yeah. And that is frustrating. And again, these are some of the risks that I think we run from buying from Hong Kong resellers, Keco, because you don't quite have that backing and that support that you do from Sideshow. And you don't have to go through customs for Sideshow, right? It's a US to US shipment. So it's not really that type of deal. And for the record, guys, let me just say, I don't think pre-ordering Hot Toys is dumb. I think it depends on the figure as to whether you should. But if it's a certain figure that you really, really want to get, and you just want to lock it in, and you just say you have your favorite comic shop, your LCS, your local comic shop that you just love, like Replay Toys, or maybe you love Alter Ego Comics or Comic Concepts or whatever, and you just love that shop and you've had great experiences and you want to lock in that Cad Bane that you've always wanted, or that Darth Vader, then by all means, like, don't put yourself at risk of not getting the figure. Go get it, get that deposit down and do what you want to do. But For ones you're a little bit more unsure about, that's where I would wait, right? Unless it's like a tier 1, tier 2 type of character that you're like, you know what, I don't give a fuck, I need this right as soon as possible. Most Hong Kong resellers, you can't even pre-order as much anymore, right? So like Tim Cent, you can't even pre-order day 1 anymore. So you have to just buy it day 1 when he posts it. So it's, you know, it's a different conversation. But I would say no, I don't think pre-ordering is dumb. But and I think the collecting world is changing, which we will talk more about. But Dean, I want to bring you in on this one. Do you pre-order Hot Toys? Do you find it to be a smart decision?
It can be. I know for me, it again, what Keco said, it definitely depends on the character. For someone like Bo-Katan, when that figure got put up for pre-order, I pre-ordered it immediately. I needed a Bo-Katan fucking 3 years ago, right? Like
Right.
ages ago. I've wanted a Bo-Katan since Clone Wars. So that was a figure I just knew I want it in the collection as soon as possible. So waiting for a 15% off sale, it's like, okay, the shipping, like I'll pay the fucking $15. Like I don't care for the, you know, very little discounts they give us sometimes from Sideshow. So I'll just pre-order it immediately. With the figure like the battle damage Vader, I really want that figure, but I already have a Vader that I absolutely love. So I don't really feel the need to pre-order that. If I miss it, it's whatever. If I get one, cool, awesome. So it's definitely like, is this a figure in your gut and your soul that you know belongs in your collection? Go ahead and pre-order it, secure it. It's like insurance. You may not get into a car accident for 10 years, but you're going to pay your insurance because in the one chance that you do, you want to be covered, right? So I don't have a problem with pre-ordering figures. The way I pre-order is I just put down the deposit and then I wait. Except for my Prime 1 statue, because
Right.
I had to make payments on that because I was like, I'm not gonna have fucking $2,000 when it's ready to ship, but I'll have a couple $100 for a figure. I don't want to keep giving Sideshow my money every month and have them have it in their bank instead of me. So I just do a deposit and let it ride. And then when the figure is ready to ship, I just pay it off. So that's the way I do it.
I think a lot of people are afraid potentially if they're looking for the deal that if they pre-order, they're going to get, we've talked about this before, they're locked into that price and they won't get it any cheaper. Yeah. And that's a question you have to raise, is 20-30 bucks off worth it to you to potentially take that risk? And to me it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. It has to be substantial. And that's the point I've gotten to too, Keco. Like with Carnage, for example, I think I paid Tim Cent like $525 shipped for that deluxe Carnage shipped, right? And that was with PayPal doing their little conversion thing, which is a pain in the ass. It added like $20. I thought it was going to be $505. PayPal conversion is always a pain in the ass. I get punched in the
balls every time on that.
Yeah, it is a kick in the balls every time. Like, so that's the type of thing. Like if I were to buy that figure from Sideshow, I'd actually pay more than that, because it's $515 plus shipping and tax. It was like $50 more from Sideshow than it would be Tim Cent. So in that type of situation, yes, it benefited me not pre-ordering, but the model is changing. Like Doc Smizzle pointed out in the comments, the one thing I think I want to point out here is actually the less popular a figure is, if you want it, the more you should probably pre-order it, because that less popular figure is probably going to be a less volume produced figure. Like Mantis, for example, they're probably not going to make 8 million Mantises, right? So if you want a Mantis, you probably should pre-order it if you know you want it. Same goes with Reva or the Grand Inquisitor, right? Not super hot ticket pre-order items. So they're probably not going to make a ton of them. So if you really like that character, you probably should go pre-order it. But, you can still get it after the fact as long as you're willing to pay a little bit more. You can find it probably. But if you want to lock it in, then by all means. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's dumb, but I do think people should be smart about it. I do think it's one of those where like I said, if it's a tier 1 character that you can't live without, you got to have in your collection, by all means, lock it in with your favorite retailer. But again, sometimes you got to be okay with the fact that not only you're not getting a discount, but you're going to have to wait, right? So you're going to have to wait, and you're going to have to be okay and be patient with that. Like if I pre-ordered it from Sideshow and, they got it really late compared to everyone else, overseas, and like, oh man, I could buy it from Tim Cent right now for $50 less than Sideshow, and you got the pre-order already, but you're going to eat an NRD. Then at that point, you got to be okay with waiting. So, it's a process, right? It's an uncertain time, but if you love the character, I'd say by all means, do your thing. That's what I would say. So, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Thanks for voting in the poll. Maybe we'll talk more about it. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Nonetheless, it's always fun to talk about those sort of big picture topics like that. So, yeah, I want to ask the question too. Yeah, we got a bunch of, that was really most of the news, to be honest. So we're going to talk about some of the bigger picture stuff here that I think is really important to collecting. So I want to ask the question, figure of the year so far. And it doesn't have to be Hot Toys. However, I will share, and I'll pull this up a little bit larger. So we're going to go over basically the figures that have been released thus far by Hot Toys in 2023. And again, I want to ask the question, what is the figure of the year thus far for you? And again, it does not have to be Hot Toys. This is just what I've not cataloged every single figure that's been released, because that would literally take me forever. Like it would be way too much, manpower there. But I will say, Keco, you're probably going to agree with me. I won't give my answer because I don't want to spoil Keco's. Keco, what is the figure of the year thus far for you? And again, it does not have to be Hot Toys. 1/6 scale figure. 1/6 scale figure of 2023. And guys, let us know in the comments below. What is your figure of the year for 2023 thus far? Keco, what's yours?
I'm going Game of Thrones Season 8 Sandor the Hound. I'm just kidding. I'm just looking at him, but
that's a bold prediction.
I do love that new the Hound. He's fantastic.
Is it really good? Because I've seen that kind of mixed. Yeah, like the hair looks kind of weird in some photos and then good in some others.
No, I love mine. He's great. But anyway,
okay.
What's that, Dean?
I was gonna say, do you have the first one?
Every time I could never get the right price on it, and it would just go through the roof every single time. I want the one with the exclusive hound head, and I was like, I'm not paying $500-600 for this. And then I got one for like $250, and I'm like, and I missed it, and I should have pulled it on that one, but no, I just settled with that one. He's sitting with Arya right now. Nice. Anyway,
so the hound is your answer.
No, the hound is not my answer. But so last month, I was pretty much all in on What If Infinity War Ultron. I love that figure. He's big in hand. He feels so good. The options to have, he felt so good in my hand. It was so firm.
He's so big and feels
guys,
good.
Someone please clip this one out for Keco.
Yeah. And
also, Ultron was firm and he felt good.
That pole was like 15 inches. It was wild.
Wow.
So,
yeah, you can spread it out.
But in all seriousness, I love the options to be able to have the Vision head or to have the Ultron mask. And as I said, I felt like that was the definitive version of the way that Ultron should have or would have looked had he succeeded. And I love that. And I thought that was really cool. Hell of a figure. And then Carnage came. And I think most people, when you have that big red bastard in your hand, you're like, that doesn't sound good either. Is that you realize just how good that figure is. Like 2 years ago, like I told you, Venom was my figure of the year 2 years ago. He's so much better than Venom. And that's hard to do because from the head sculpt to the body to the look, everything is just so good. You can pose him any way you want. The tongue does not have that giant black. Oh, that looks even worse. I'm not doing really good here. The black magnet in the back of Venom's mouth. I'm glad that's not on here, but there's just so much with Carnage that he is so imposing. He is so good. And if you get the deluxe, you get the Eddie Brock head to make your Venom even better. It ticks every box. And I'm not just saying this. I don't even think Wanda. Yeah, see, I don't even think Wanda will take figure of the year. And I'm not just saying that because I love her. This is going to be a very tough figure to beat. And I know, Will, you will probably say this. I'm very interested to hear what Dean thinks. Because I don't know if you have Carnage or even want him. But for me, this hands down is one of the best, not just figures of the year, but one of the best figures I've ever produced.
Right. I'm actually with you, Keco. I can only echo everything that you've said, bro. Like, honestly, Carnage is Look, and I know this is a little bit, bold to say, but I will say Carnage to me is the best hot toy that I have ever seen in person. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic and, a prisoner of the moment here. I legitimately think that this Carnage is the best hot toys that I've ever seen. And it's incredible. It's
we've
figure of
seen
the year.
a lot of figures. We've had a lot of figures. I got a lot of figures. And to be able to definitively say that without sounding silly.
Definitive.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Fuck you.
This is fucking great. Anyway, Dean, what's your figure of the year though thus far for 2023, bro?
Figure of the year thus far is a figure punching way above its weight class.
3-0
company that has no business being on a figure of the year list.
Star Ace. Oh my god, here we go.
It's Mondo, isn't it? It's Mondo.
Mars Toys Prank Villain.
Okay, that's not bad.
That figure is insane. And I don't even have any attachment to the 60s Batman show, this character, this version of the Joker. But you get 3 head sculpts, so many accessories, and the head sculpts are amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a good looking figure. The tailoring is immaculate. And I think it retailed for like under 180 or
like
something.
160.
Yeah, right.
Insane. This figure is fucking literally ticking all the boxes. It's brutal. The competition this figure brings out of nowhere, again, from Mars Toys, like who, you know what I mean? Like they have some other figures, but it's like they were okay. This figure came out insane, absolutely insane. I think it's.
So you think this is better than all the Hot Toys, Dean, so far?
I do. Again, and I know they're not paying for a license.
I was gonna say it's an illegal figure, so I don't know.
It's an illegal figure, but dude, the price point, the quality, and again, all the display options you get, like that's so hard to beat. 3 head sculpts.
Yeah.
This figure.
It's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And yeah. And I mean, they're really, really great. And they're actually doing a second run of this. It was so popular. So yeah, I mean, and look, as great as Carnage is, you got to factor in the price into this, Dean. I mean, Carnage, you're paying like 3 times as much as you are for this. So
there's also 3 times the figure as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, dude. It's Carnage, guys. I don't think Keco, again, we can't overstate how good this Carnage is. Like it's really good. I was excited to get it in hand, but when I got it in hand on unboxing, I was like, this thing is fucking phenomenal. It's really, really good. Some people ask me, are you worried about the joints or whatever? You really don't notice them. I promise. They blend into the body. They blend in with the symbiote so nicely. And if you bend the arms at all, it's fine. But even if you don't, like they blend in with the symbiote, it doesn't really matter. I'm glad with Venom, they didn't do that because I think with the black joints, it probably would have looked a little bit weirder. But with Carnage, and it's such a massive figure, and so many accessories, Keco, so many posing options. But Dean, I love this choice.
Like Shiny said, Carnage doesn't come with the water pistol and beat shorts, though.
He does not. He does not. So Dean's pick obviously is the winner. So I mean, but Dean, you are right in terms of posing options for this one. I mean, you can do a lot with this guy.
You could buy 3 of these fucking things and still be cheaper than
you'd have 9 figures,
the Carnage,
dude. So yeah, I mean, you'd have 9 head sculpts. So yeah.
But, well, I meant you could have each posing, option there. If you wanted all 3 on the shelf, it's like, damn. I think they're also going to do the Batman and the Robin,
right,
soon too to go with this. So
I saw the tease with Riddler too.
This is from 66 Batman, is it not?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which I have not seen. So I barely saw 89 Batman.
That's what I was saying. Like I have no connection to this, and this figure blew me away.
Right.
Because we look and
dope.
handle a lot of figures, literally every week. So it's to be this impressed, I was like, damn, it's incredible.
Well, that's why I've been excited, Dean, for a lot of the other Mars Toys releases now because of how good this prank villain is. But not every Mars Toys release. Well, not every Mars Toys release, Keco, has been as high quality as this one. Right. Like a lot of the other ones are pretty good. They're solid, but this one is like a new level.
Yeah, they did a 89 Joker that was pretty good.
Right, they did.
We have
Especially
another 89 coming with the beret and the melted face as well.
Yeah,
Right,
and the melted
yeah.
face. Yeah, and
Smiley
if
face,
you don't
yeah.
want to pay those aftermarket Hot Toys prices, especially on that Joker, that's a very sought after figure. The Mars Toys was a very, very solid option.
Right.
My buddy Manny has one, and it's really good. And then this came out, and it's just like goddamn, phenomenal.
Right. Right. Yeah. Dude, it's such a great figure. One thing I do want to say though, and I do have, since we're on the third party topic, this is a dark horse. Okay, because this Invincible figure, Keco thinks it's a mid-show, but he's wrong. He's wrong. Keco's allowed to be wrong at least.
I don't like it either.
Right? So, what? All right, y'all bitches are both getting kicked because this show is incredible, dude. The last 2 episodes especially are really, really good. But the rest of the show I really enjoyed overall. But the last 2 episodes I just think are phenomenal. This figure really wowed me in hands. But the hands are a bitch, though. Let me just tell you. The wrist pegs and the hands, fuck those things. It's a pain in the ass. But I will say you will get them on eventually. Keco knows because I dealt with the Storm Collectibles, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. If I can do those, I can do this. But, all those figures have their things, right? But I will say So has really wowed me with this figure. Guys, let me just show you the magnets on this thing. Guys, InArt, please take note because the magnets on this Invincible figure are far better, I feel, than the InArt magnets are. And I don't know what happened with the development of that or whatever. They're solid on the InArt. This one, guys, they ain't going nowhere. That head is whoop. It like if you hold it above the neck, it'll literally like want to come down to jump on the neck. Like it's crazy. So yeah, the wrist pegs are annoying. I do agree, Philip. But yeah, I think this Invincible figure, unbreakable. You can get this guy again for under $200. Remarkable figure.
Yeah, Soso makes some good stuff.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So was it Susu? I've heard either.
I don't know. I've called them So, but I only have one of their figures, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. But so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm on that level with them. But hey, I like the one figure that you do have, So or Susu. I'm happy with either one. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about what is the figure of the year thus far for you. And yeah, I want to ask the question here. This is something that we need to talk about. So recently, Sideshow Collectibles has announced that they will not be attending San Diego Comic-Con. This is a somewhat of a change of the guard for them, right? Because historically they have gone to SDCC, and then this year they said, "Oh, no longer. We're not going anymore. We don't care." So they stopped going to New York Comic-Con. Right now, they've stopped going to San Diego Comic-Con, and Sideshow is doing their own sort of virtual con at the same time as SDCC, which really sucks with the timing of all this because a lot of collectors like myself bought tickets for SDCC and we really wanted to go to see Sideshow booth, and now they're not going. And they had to have known this long ago, and they just really had it announced after everyone already bought their tickets. But nonetheless, I want to ask the question, is the collecting industry suffering? Because to me, this is all speculation, right? But to me, this kind of very much smells like a very business financial move. This is like, it's not like they don't give a shit about Comic-Con, but Comic-Con has become so expensive. Especially, I saw a lot of comments. Yost Jazz Inc. was saying what Comic-Con San Diego charges for one booth is remarkable. You would be surprised. So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm wondering if the collecting industry is in a tough spot, and I'm starting to see lower editions on statues. Think about the things that maybe this is why InArt has been so quiet. Think about the amount that Queen Studios, the statue company that is around InArt, that they own InArt, right? So how many statues have they announced or released this year? Very few. Prime One has hardly announced or released that much this year besides remakes and reissues, right? You're not seeing a lot of statue companies making a lot here. And if they are, they're lower edition sizes. And you're also seeing Hot Toys go sold out more, like they're making less of them. And Sideshow's not attending cons anymore. So I'm just starting to wonder, is this like a sign of all these things? Like, is collecting really doing that well right now? And that's what I want to ask the question. Keco, what do you think about this overall situation with Sideshow? And is this sort of telltale for a larger symptomatic issue here? What do you think?
You have to ride the ebbs and flows for sure. Is the collecting industry suffering? I think is a little bit of just a clicky bait headline, if you ask me, because I don't think it's suffering at all. People collect what they want to collect when they collect. So if situations change, they're like, well, I don't want to collect anymore. I mean, think about that. How many people come and go from the hobby. More people leave, some people come back. And that's just the way it is. It's just the cycles of things. People collected things since the dawn of time. Hunter-gatherers collected food to eat, things like that. Collecting has been around. It'll continue to be around. It's the priorities that people have to decide what means something to them. And businesses adapt to that. So if they naturally, and I think this is obvious, this is evident, people are looking at their bottom line and saying, gee, should I pay my car payment and my student loan, or should I buy a $5,000 statue? Most people are saying, I need to take care of my family. And I think businesses realize that, and they're saying, well, I don't want to go out of business, so let's just limit the number of things that we do, cut down our overhead. It's everywhere. It's a global issue of thus everyone is trying to figure out how to survive themselves, how to make money, but still live and have a good life. That's the perfect balance. If you can figure those things out to where you can take care of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all that stuff, and still be able to have some fun and all that, that's the game of life that you're trying to play and win. That's what it comes down to. Now, for this, you might not like this, Will.
What's up?
I could not care less whether they showed up at the conventions, honestly. Because here's my thing. When I was at Celebration, I walked by and I wasn't blown away. Because mainly there was nothing I could take with me. Okay? It's not like you go to Mickey or go to Disney World, grab some Mickey Mouse ears, put them in your bag and go home. For me, I want to be able to take something with me. Even like the exclusives when they had the Chrome Troopers and all that. They're like, all right, here's a card for you to go on and put this QR code, get something later. It's kind of like the Jingle All the Way. No, it's a coupon to get a Turbo Man eventually. Everyone wanted Turbo Man. They didn't want the coupon. And so for me, the Sideshow cons, the Hasbro cons, all those things, I'll find it on Reddit. Do I want to see it in person? It was cool, I guess, seeing Ricka and Tick before they were announced. But think about how many things have been shown at these cons that never come to light. People use these as ammunition to say, I hate these industries because they don't give me what I want. They teased it and they never came back. Maybe they're doing away with that because they're tired of showing samples that people get mad about. And maybe there's so many things that they're tweaking. The 2099 Spider-Man. Can you imagine them bringing the 2099 Spider-Man for them to shit all over it in high definition? Maybe that's part of it too, is that their process of getting these statues and these figures to production quality, they don't have the time to put out a prototype to sit on there for you to nitpick it with your HD camera and be like, oh, I don't know if they got the tailoring right. The texture on that doesn't look good. Maybe they're just trying to avoid that. That's my personal thing. And like I said, I went to, and I know some people go to San Diego Comic-Con for the Sideshow booth. You said that in your video. That's not me. I didn't go to Celebration to see the Sideshow booth. I came to see the Mandalorian panel, to see the celebrities, to see Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what I cared about. I didn't care about the collector. Because I'm a collector, I'll get the collectible when it comes out. So to me, that's me balancing my life. I'm still going to collect. I don't care how they're going to put it out there. I'm going to find what I want to collect eventually. So whether it's at a show, in person, or online, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's understandable. And so, and the reason I kind of bring it up to Keco, I want to share something real quick before I hop to Dean's one. So, and Keco, I know you saw this, and the reason I bring this up is because this is something that I find really interesting, and somewhat I found the results a little bit surprising, right? So again, one of the reasons I bring this up too, again, maybe this poll is not necessarily representative of everyone in the collecting population. However, if I'm asking the question, how many 1/6 scale figures do you purchase per year? That includes Hot Toys, InArt, everyone, right? So we have 63% of collectors saying 1 to 7, 29% saying 1 to 3. So most collectors 4 to 7. I guess we never had actual data to go off of previously, but that seems lower than I feel like it has been in previous years. And I don't know why that is exactly. There's other competing obligations that people have in life, but the numbers seem, I think most people would think these numbers would be higher. When you look at, so even 8 to 11, that's Hot Toys has released 25 things this year alone. That's just Hot Toys. Right? We're talking about third party, 3.0, everyone. And this includes everything. So, if you're talking about 75 to 80% of people collect 1 to 11 and, 30% collect 1 to 3 per year. And think about the statue people who maybe collect statues too. And there's people that are watching this channel and actively voting in a poll. So that's why I'm starting to wonder, if we're seeing all these things and I'm I get what you're saying about the sort of clickbaity aspect of it, but I'm just like, I think it's a legitimate question as to, are these like sort of symptomatic issues that maybe collecting and just is not doing? Like Hot Toys has even lowered their prices, which seems weird because we're all confused by it, right? Because for a while Hot Toys was like going up and up and up, and we're like, oh, these prices, and then Hot Toys was like, oh, we're going to bring it back down, probably because people weren't buying as much, and they were like, we have to lower them, which again tells me like people aren't buying as much, especially as they were during COVID. And I even talked to, Queen Studios and other places where they were like, yeah, I think everyone in the collecting industry got a little overzealous when COVID happened. And we thought this would be the norm because
Right.
people were home and they were buying things. And then the world got back to normal and then everyone stopped collecting. So that happened with baseball cards too. Like Target, you couldn't go into a Target and find any baseball cards for months because people were buying them like crazy because they were bored as fuck. So that's why I think it's really interesting, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's
so.
like, and
I would
people
love to
pointing out,
see
like,
go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Like you're seeing like less from XM, from Prime One, from J&D, from Queen. All these companies are like releasing something every now and then, but not much. It's pretty barren. You know what I mean?
I would just like go across. I think it was a perfect storm, and Dean, I'll let you jump in here. I think it was a perfect storm of the hype of the MCU, Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, mixed with the pandemic. People wanted that, broke everything. The Iron Man Mark 50 broke everything, because think about that. That is the figure that broke everything. When everyone's like, I need Iron Man. And then they're like, oh, okay, you want Iron Man? Here you go. They released 2 Iron Men this week for sale. I mean, he's here. He's not going anywhere. But I would be interested to know kind of what it looked like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Well, how many releases were they doing then? And maybe they're just trying to scale it back to get back to, pre-pandemic. I even hate that term, pre-pandemic world, because we're never going back to the way it was, things like that. And I wonder what it was like, because we're on what, MMS 600 now, or 6 something. We've had a lot of releases or reveals, or what do you want to call it, over the past 3.5 years. I would say that a majority of those, and Hot Toys has been around for what, 20 years or whatever? Think about how much they used to release compared to now. And will that get scaled back to back when they were profitable? I don't know, just thinking out loud.
Yeah. Sorry, Dean. I had you wait so long here. Dean, hop in on this one. What do you think? Is the industry suffering in your eyes?
I don't know if it's an industry thing or just a Sideshow thing. Sideshow used to do, because they were like, oh, we're not going to Comic-Con this year, we're going to do an online thing. They've done that before, and they've done it alongside being, I don't know if you remember what was her name?
Susan.
Susan. I just forgot it. Sorry, Susan, if you're out there.
Yeah.
She used to do all the online stuff while they were at the cons. So it's like,
yep.
Is Sideshow hurting that bad for money that they're just like, fuck it, let's not even bother going to the cons? Like, are the people not pre-ordering enough? Like you said, they haven't really put out any statues all that much. Yeah, I don't know. It's just very weird that it's like, you're not like breaking any ground here. You're almost stepping backwards, because there are some people out there that only know what Sideshow is because they stumbled across them at a con.
Right.
So it's like, that's a lot of potential customers, because new people are going to cons every year. People that are now old enough, or even, their first memories might be at a con. And it's like, those are all potential customers. You're talking about hundreds of, I don't know how many people go to San Diego. 100,000 maybe?
Bro. It's thousands. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So it's like, it's such a bizarre thing to not be there. But also, like Keco said, like, you're not buying anything from them. So they're there only to make money after the fact. So yeah, it's just weird. Maybe if they set up a store, they might do better. I don't know. But people sell shit at cons, so I don't see what Sideshow wouldn't. So especially SDCC, that's weird, bro. They're down the street. They're
Right.
literally down the street. It'd be one thing if it was some Comic-Con like on the other side of the country. They're down the road. It's such a weird business choice. I honestly don't get it, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not going, so I don't really have any skin in the game. But Will, it's your first year going, and they're not going to be there. Like that kind of sucks.
Right. And there'll be other booths. Like I know Queen will be there, but how much are they really going to bring? And Iron Studios, I think, and some other companies. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Sideshow was going to be a big part of the process, but you know, like Keco said, there'll still be celebrities and stuff, panels and stuff like that I can go to. So I'll still get excited to go to that. But right. And I know Jeff's asking, will this Sideshow Con be free? Yes, it will. You register. So, but again, to the point, remember, and again, no one's entitled to anything, and we're not going to pretend as such. But they used to give out rewards for registering for all of these cons, and now they don't. And also, let's also note, Dean. Let's also note how much tighter they've become with promo codes. Like they'll still give you promo codes, but half time you can't use it on pre-order stuff. You can only use it on certain things. Like they've become a lot tighter with that.
Man,
exactly.
I remember, man, even like 4 years ago, I got so many rewards. I think whenever episode 3 Obi-Wan came out, I essentially paid like $60 for that figure.
Right.
Because I got so many reward points on the what was the Spooktober or whatever the hell it was called. And then they had the Thanksgiving, and then all the Christmas rewards came out. It's like they were giving them out like fucking candy, but the community got really good at those code groups, and kind of
farming for codes.
It's like here's the code, everybody, and sometimes so many people were trying to put in the code that the website wouldn't even load. So I think we've ruined that. But yeah, it is kind of weird. I mean, I don't even remember the last time I saw a code like, here you guys go. And I'll just get like a coupon in my email every once in a while.
All I got was an opportunity to register to not get the exclusive Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, sign up for Sideshow Con, we'll give you 10% off. But it's like 10% is not even shipping, so it's not like it used to be. It's weird.
Right. Yeah, it's just such an interesting time, guys. I don't know. It's just, it's pretty crazy. So I don't know. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen with the future of this. But guys, let us know in the comments below what you're thinking about the collecting industry and, where things are going to go. I don't know. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I'm disappointed, but I guess we're going to see. But guys, I want to ask the question here, and we have one more topic I think that we have time for. So I want to ask the question here. Is a collection ever really complete, right? And I want to share something here because there was a video shared recently that I thought was pretty interesting. And it was actually this one, right? It was actually a Costa case made by Mr. Keco Collects here. They didn't think he was capable of making, but he did. So, Keco, I want to ask the question, is a collection ever really complete? Because I hear this said by collectors pretty often. They're like, oh, if I just get my collection, it's going to be done when I just get this figure and I get this display. It's never really done, though, is it?
No one's ever really gone, and no one's ever finished collecting. Yep. That's the thing.
Right.
How dare you?
What, I just quoted Luke?
Dean hates the sequels, bro. Dean hates the sequels.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dean. I upset you on that one. I'll make it up to you. So anyway, now I'm all flustered. But we all collected Pogs, growing up, and then we collected Pokemon cards. You always find something to collect. If you are think about the people, and I don't think he minds me sharing this. He may even be on the stream right now. I know Josh Pence, he collected Marvel Legends, Black Series, Hot Toys forever. And then he's like, okay, I need to spend more time with the family and buying a house, things like that. I'm out. And sold all of his stuff. I'm the one who got his Scarlet Witch, which I'm very happy about. And then he's just announced this week, hey, just bought 4 mystery packs from Big Bad Toy Store of Mythic Legions. I'm just going to just casually start doing this. Everyone collects. You're never done. You can never say, this is the last piece and I'm done. Don't lie to yourself. But there also is something to be said about having an end game, essentially. And I think that may be what we'd be asking about, because you can't just continually buy and just continue to fill. Then you're hoarding. You have to have something to be like, okay. And I know right before we got on here, Will, you'd said, okay, here's what I'm thinking with once my module cases come in. I'm going to do this row, this row, this row. I'm going to get rid of this figure. That's thinking through it. That's curating your collection. I wish we would be better curators than collectors, including myself. I'm talking to myself right here, is that I love getting new things. I love being able to see that DHL is not able to get it to me. You know, but you need to be able to say, okay, what do I want to accomplish? I live in a beautiful home and all that, but I can't just fill it up with toys all day. Amy would lose her mind at that. She already comes up here and asks me a few questions like, when did this show up? You know, and we work through that. And
You
yes,
do.
by the way, I do have to say this. Keith Lee says Josh bought a haunted house. That was his old house he left where the poltergeist is. So that's the old house for those wondering.
I saw that video. That was some wild shit right there.
There's 2 demons in that house. Either way, that's the old house. But you need to have an end game. You need to figure out what you want to do, and just don't ever say like, okay, once I get this, I'm done, because then you will get sad and you'll be like, oh, I miss collecting, and then you'll go pay more and wish you had things back. The biggest thing I can ever say is always unplug before you unload. That's the one thing I will say, is that if you ever are thinking of being, okay, I'm out, I just need to stop, unplug from everything and just think and wait and press pause before you start selling things and getting it off, because it's so much more challenging to go back and get everything than just curating what you currently have. So just think through those things. Is a collection ever really complete? No, because you're never complete as a person, because there's always something coming. There's always going to be a shiny new that you say that you want, unless you're the person that's like, hey, I want to collect this for something that has a definitive end date. Like, I want the 1983 booster cards, you know, whatever it may be, and that's what I want. Or I need all the 1977 Kenner Star Wars figures. Those are defined from a beginning and an end. That's the only way a collection's ever complete. But if it is an ongoing thing to where it's a franchise that continues to put stuff out, no, you're never done. And Hot Toys specifically, 6-scale collecting, no, you're never done. So I don't know if I answered the question, but my collection is never complete, but I do need to be a better curator.
No, I do agree, Keco. And I think this is one where, again, there's always going to be a new IP that comes out too that just grabs your attention. Or if it's not, maybe it's a new property within an IP, right? Maybe it's a new Star Wars show or a new Marvel movie or whatever that you're really going to like. What's the next show that's going to be like The Boys? And maybe InArt or someone picks up the line and you love the next version of The Boys or something similar, right? There's going to be some new shiny IP that a new Mando, right, pops up. And you're like, oh my God, this show's amazing. It never really ends. Dean, what do you think, bro? Is a collection ever really complete?
Absolutely not. I know for me, when I got into Hot Toys, I started collecting Star Wars, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna really stick to A New Hope. So I'll have Han, Leia, Chewie, Obi-Wan, Vader, some stormtroopers, and I'll stop there. Because then I'm buying every version of Luke and Leia. And I mean, to be fair, I did end up buying every version of Luke, but instead of like, oh, I got the Return of the Jedi Endor and the Jedi Luke. I just got the one. So I kind of just like limited it to
how many Last Jedi Lukes do you got?
0.
Not enough.
I actually did own one for a while. I got rid of it. And I did have a bunch of clones from Sideshow because I love clones. And Cody came out, and I was like, well, I love Cody, and I already have a bunch of clones, so I'll have my prequel trilogy figures and my original trilogy figures. And then they announced the Anakin and then the Obi-Wan, and I got those. And then I was like, well, they'll probably never make Rex because he was in the animated show, and I'll never get an Ahsoka. So I'm fine with just Obi-Wan and Anakin and some clones. And then they came out with Rex, and I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing Rex. And then they came out with Ahsoka. So it's this like Keco said, you have like an end game, like, oh, I'm just gonna stick with this. And then it's like, oh, they're actually touching these IPs I never thought were gonna get made. And then you buy those, and then when those figures come out, it's like, oh, well, this new Mando show is actually really fucking badass, and they're gonna make figures of that. So it's like, well, I gotta buy those too because those are fucking cool. And then it's like, wait, Bo-Katan is in this show. I fucking love Bo-Katan since Clone Wars. That's why I had all these clone figures. And then bam, they make a Bo-Katan. It's like, I gotta have that too. So it really is kind of like it ebbs and flows. There's highs and lows, and it's like sometimes you might go a couple years without buying a figure, or maybe you're buying a figure every week. It's like you can't buy enough, So yeah, I don't think the collection's ever really done, because then it's like, well, I'm sitting at home on a Friday and I'm bored, and I might pick up a new anime, and then I'm like, holy shit, this anime fucking kicks ass, and then I'm buying a bunch of figures from the anime because they make anime figures like fucking cheap as shit now. You can pick them up for like $20. So yeah, it's always evolving, and you just gotta try not to buy everything.
Well, that's the thing, Dean. You have to really sit down and think about what you love the most. And even with the new stuff, prioritize. Sometimes like you just really love a figure for its time, and then you've had it for long enough. And you're like, okay, I think it's time to move on because I got this exciting new thing that I really love too. And I need to make space for it. And that's what you guys both talked about, curation. And, it's amazing. So, and, look, a collection's never really complete, really, unless you feel like you just don't want to collect anymore. That would be a different conversation, I feel like. But, there's always going to be new things that grab you. There's a new, like, for example, there could be a new remake. Someone was asking earlier about the Dark Side Anakin, right? They could remake that thing. And then everyone could be like, well, I had the old one, so I'm going to get the new one, though, because it's better in some way, right? And like you said, people want the newest and greatest and latest shiny thing. So that could change, and your collection could change because of it. That's why it never truly ends. So maybe you bought a third-party Homelander, and then InArt's like, we finally got the license, boys. Here's your Homelander. And you're like, well, now I'm going to sell this other one and get the InArt. So again,
in the year 2067.
Right. Yeah. Probably 2077, but 2099. So yeah. But hey, there we go. But anyway, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think. Is a collection ever really complete? I think we're all pretty much in accord here that no, unless you are done with collecting, I'm going to say.
If your heart's not in it anymore, please don't continue to just buy and hurt yourself or whatever. If you're not wanting to do it anymore, as I said, unplug, think about it, then unload the stuff. But if if it's a stress to you, then yes, you need to press pause, because it should never be like hey, I hate, new thing came out, I gotta talk about it. It should never be like that, ever.
No.
That's kind of why I was like, I'm just gonna focus on the New Hope, because the sequel trilogies were coming out, and I was like, I don't love these things, I don't like them. They weren't particularly great figures. Like the Stormtroopers were terrible figures. You could not do anything with those figures. And again, it was like that point. I was like, well, I'll just stick to A New Hope. And then the sequel trilogy figures weren't doing good, so they're like, fuck it, let's start making prequel stuff.
Right.
Hook me, hook, line, and sinker got me. I was
and
like,
fuck, I'm
in. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
And by the way, the man himself, Costa, thank you so much, Pop Culture Living Room, the man who designed these beautiful cases that Keco built. He said, you were never done. The end game is death. You could stop, but you always come back to it. He's right. He's right. Check out his channel, by the way. Amazing. Dude, the guy is insanely inventive with the display cases and everything.
It frustrates me to know how handy some people are.
Right. Like, he's so handy, and like, I wish I was that good at shit. I wish I could fix shit and make my own stuff. Like, the dude just
I hung a screw or a hook in my garage to hang a blower on today. I literally found the stud. I took the drill, I found the thing, and I like screwed it in, and I was like, mission accomplished. I can do things. Well, I'm a handyman at this point.
Well, Keco, you are, and you and I fixed the shower curtain pretty easily.
Hell yeah, we did. I forgot about that one too.
Yeah, we did. I didn't really do anything. I just kind of stood there and held it up, but Keco fixed it mostly. So
I built these detop risers.
Ooh, that's a custom thing.
Hold on, Dean.
Those are 2x4s.
I just got a bunch of, back when wood was like $300. I was like, fuck, I need my dog's bone
during COVID.
Wondering what that is.
You got it.
But yeah, dude, their
lumber was ridiculous.
Shit.
Yeah.
Dude, but they're gonna hold the detops though. That's what
100%. Yeah. And then there's like a middle piece. So there's two. There's one here and then one here.
Yeah.
And each one holds 3 detops.
Perfect.
But yeah, each one of these is probably over 100 pounds. They're fucking I built them to
Absolute
last.
units.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing, Dean. See, we can all do shit. I built a Moji case. So,
There you go.
I there were no instructions and I built it. So
Wow.
yeah, so yeah,
Did
it was
you have
pretty
to
cool
phone a
because I
friend
bought
on
the
some
3
parts,
white
though?
ones. So here was the thing, Keco. I didn't like the parts were all sort of disassembled, but I had 2 other cases that were already built that I could just look at and be like, okay. I was like reverse engineering.
Yeah,
I was like,
nice.
how
Like the
was this
aliens.
going? Yes, that's what I did. So my mom and I. So yeah,
Nice.
now I got to build 10 more of them when they show up. So
Wow.
very excited about that.
Well,
yeah.
you're too handsome. So if you're handsome and handy, like it's like, bro, leave
Yeah,
some
I
for the
can't
rest of
be
us,
good at
bro.
everything. Bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it is with Keco too. Keco's too handsome. He can't be handy and handsome. So it's just and same with you, Dean. I doubt you're that handy because you're too handsome. So
thanks.
I don't think you're going to be handy either. So I think we just got a panel of non-handy people here, which is why Costa's in the chat to make us all look good.
Like
my ex was handy.
trying to change. Yeah.
Did you break up with her because she? Damn, Dean. I just got the joke. I was like, fuck, dude.
Damn. And that's gonna do it, everybody.
Oh, guys. Well, hopefully she gave you a good handy, Dean. I don't know about other than that. So I mean, but she's your ex, probably not. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Monetization is gone at that point. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Thanks so much to this Avengers level panel. Keco, I'll start with you, bro. Is there anything coming up on the YouTube, on the gram that you want to talk about? I'm sure some exciting stuff that you got planned for people.
I always have things planned if I actually had some figures to actually do something with. That'd be really cool, but they're just stuck in transit. But I am got some things in the works. I'm actually working with Nick on some cool stuff for Figure in the Bank coming up. We actually talked through some thoughts and theories about some potential new pay-per-views and such. So anyway, check me out on YouTube, Instagram. I've not been as active recently just because I got a lot going on with work and such. Just trying to navigate the real life world, but always making time for my friends here. So come by and say hello.
Yeah. Well, Keco, you got some great photos, bro. And Keco has been so helpful to me, man. Every time I have a photo, I ask for advice. And if a reel or anything, like I sent Keco the video beforehand.
Reels
I'm like,
are where the truth is, man.
What do you think about this? And like even like the comedy sketch I did about Papa Palpatine, I was like, let's get Keco's opinion. I usually ask Carlos, Keco, and a few others. I'm like, gotta start asking Dean too. But yeah, you guys are like my test audience. So yeah. Anyway, Keco, guys, check him out on exactly focus group. Check him out on Insta, YouTube. Lots of great content over there. Dean, bro, thank you so much for joining 2 weeks in a row, bro. You are absolutely the man. I'm sorry about your ex-girlfriend, but other than that, bro, I'm happy to have you here. And yeah, man, what's coming up on Collecting Weekly? Because I know you guys are dropping some heat content over there.
Yeah, so tonight we got Collectors Club. That's the statue show. If you guys interested in statues and hearing the news, tune into that. We got John, the Everyday Collector, hosting. And then we're actually off this weekend. Zach's going out of town. I'm going out of town too. But then we got our Monday night unboxing. I'll be unboxing the Man in Black Westworld figure.
Ooh, I have his horse, but I don't have the figure.
Oh, yeah, the horse? I don't have the horse.
Yeah, I have the horse.
But yeah, I've been sitting on this for a week. I got it last Sunday, but I unboxed a different figure on Monday. So this week I'll be unboxing it. But it's I don't even know
who made that one, Dean?
I honestly could not tell you.
I remember it when it came out, when it got announced, though. I do remember it.
Yeah. If you haven't watched Westworld season 1 or 2,
is that Ed Harris?
Yeah,
it is. It is. Yeah. I got the horse, Dean, because Arthur Morgan. I wanted to put it with Arthur Morgan.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I know a lot of people that just got the horse for like other figures.
Right.
But yeah, if you haven't watched Westworld season 1 or 2, do yourself a favor. Amazing. And then Tuesday we got the main show and we talk about other 6 scale news. So probably what you heard tonight with me and Zach and Ben and Marco. So yeah, tune in over there.
That sounds pretty great, bro. Guys, it'll be fun. And I'm going to be on Marco's 165 channel soon. I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or sometime next week. We're still trying to iron out the time there, but it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to do that. I think it's going to be a 2-person show. So Gigi was busy apparently, and I requested that she be there. I was like, Gigi's got to be there, but apparently she's focused on passing the bar exam. So Hopefully next time. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll be back, of course, every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Lights, Camera, Keco, Dean Collects. And yeah, it's going to be fun. And yeah, I just dropped a comedy sketch about Palpatines. You can check that out. Lots of cool Instagram reels that I've been posting and photos and other stuff, trying to, give more Instagram offerings. So Will.Foxification, if you want to find me there. Lots of great stuff over there. And of course, some other stuff on this channel that will come up. I got to do a collection tour reaction. I might film that maybe tomorrow, but I am going to do one. I will be filming my own collection tour, hopefully soon, whenever the module spaces arrive and I get them set up. Hopefully over the next, I was thinking maybe by the end of May, but I'm not so sure. I haven't really heard much since. So I guess we'll see. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the generosity, for the support, for the engagement, the interaction, and have a great weekend. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to do. The weather's pretty good here in Maryland, so hopefully it's good where you're at as well. And yeah, anyway, guys, peace out. Bye. See you later. Bye.